So with this question, we are looking at, we have to find the unit rate, write an equation that relates the two quantities that are there, make a table of four values, sketch a graph of the relationship, and identify the constant of proportionality. So there are five things that we're going to have to do with each of these three questions that are coming up. So question A, Sasha works at a clothing store and she earns $66 for working an 8-hour shift. So what we need to do is take and to set up our unit rate, we have to set up the ratio that relates the amount of money that she makes versus the number of hours that she works. So she makes $66 for working 8 hours. So what would that be for 1 hour? Because that would be our unit rate. So that's $66 divided by 8 hours is $8.25. So there's our unit rate, $8.25 per hour. Come on, there we go. So now if we want to write the equation that relates those two, well, then we would say that, remember that when we are looking for the unit rate, we always want to divide the y value by the x value. But when we go to write it the other way for the equation part, that's going to be, y equals k, which is the constant or the unit rate, multiplied by x, which is the input. So the output is equal to the constant multiplied by the input. So in this case, the amount of money that she makes is equal to $8.25 multiplied by the number of hours that she works. Okay. Now we've written the equation. We need to make a table of four values. So for 1 hour, she makes $8.25. For 2 hours, she makes $16.50. 3 hours times 8.25 is $24.75. 24, come on, $24.75. Okay. And 4 hours is $33. Okay, $33. Okay, so we created the table with four different values, four inputs, four outputs, and then it says to graph the relation, sketch a graph of the relationship. So if this is my x-axis, that's where my input goes. Up here is my y-axis. And so let's see, there's 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. And at $8.25 per hour, let's see, I think 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, however you need to graph this thing out. 1 hour is $8.25, so about there. Oops, hold on a second. I remember what I did here. And 2 hours was $16.50. 3 hours, $24.75. So let's see here. Just 3 hours. There we go. And 4 hours was 33. And there's our dots. Now, if we were going to graph this with a line, we can do that fairly easily here. Run it through our dots. And there's our graph, or, as close as I could get it anyway. So when we're looking at, now the last question is identify the constant of proportionality. Okay, so I'm going to use my light blue highlighter. Well, let's see. I'm going to use my orange highlighter. That's the one I want to use. Orange highlighter and identify the constant of proportionality. So in the equation, here's my constant of proportionality. It's 825. It also happens to be our unit rate. On the table, when x is 1, our constant of proportionality is the y value when x is 1. Okay? So, and on our graph, like it says in the table, when x is 1, our, sorry about that. When x is 1, our y value is the constant of proportionality. So it's right there. So 4 different ways you can find the constant of proportionality. And it is 825. The heck? Sorry about that. All right. So Chelsea, you have a question. Oops, hold on a second. Sorry. Okay. Now in this next question, Eric mows lawns in the summer to earn some extra money. One weekend, he mowed 5 lawns of the same size and earned $150. Okay. 5 lawns, $150. So we need to find the unit rate first. All right. The unit rate makes the most sense. Remember, it's always y divided by x. And that should be, in this case, we're going to take the $150 because the amount of money that he makes depends on the number of lawns that he mows. So 150 divided by 5. We want to turn that into a 1, right? So he makes for 150 for 5 lawns. How much will he make for 1 lawn? Well, 150 divided by 5 is 30. Okay. So to change that into our equation, the amount of money that he makes is going to be equal to the $30 that he makes for each lawn that he mows. So when we go to our table then, 1 lawn, $30, 2 lawns, $60, 3 lawns, $90, 4 lawns, $120. And of course, 5 lawns was $150. So there's our table with 4 values. And remember, this is our x axis. This is our y axis. The x is the number of lawns. And the y is our money, right? The money side. And so when we go to graph this, if he mows, let's see, nope. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. And you can gauge the other side however you want to. Let's make this one. That could be 10, 20, 30. You can scale your graph however it is you want to. You can see how it gets really easy to start cramming numbers really tightly together, and it's just a mess, especially on a computer screen. Okay, but 1 lawn is $30, right? So let me get my cursor there. 1 lawn, $30. 2 lawns. Whoops, well, close enough. 3 lawns, $90. I think that's right. Whoops, I was 1 line over. Sorry about that. Well, for crying out loud. There we go. One more try here. I think that's right. Yes. All right, 10, 20, 30. Yes. All right. So then we just connect the dots through the line, right? So I go to my shapes, make my line, start here. and draw my line through my 3 dots the best I can on my computer screen. There we go. That'll work. There's my graph. And so my constant of proportionality, well, again, our constant of proportionality, in this case, I'll do it in a different color. Let's see, how about yellow? Yellow's nice. My constant of proportionality is my unit rate. It's what I multiply by the x in my equation. It's when x equals 1. And on my graph, it is when x is 1, there's my constant of proportionality. The constant of proportionality is 30. See, this isn't too bad. All these different ways to find and use your constant of proportionality. Okay. Last one here. Ashton works at a drop-in daycare center and he earns $68.25 for working 6 hours and 30 minutes. In other words, 6.5 hours. So we would find our unit rate. We divide the amount of money that he makes by the number of hours that he works. And we want to find what that is for 1. So we divide 68.25. Divide that by 6.5 hours. Now, some of you might be tempted to write 10.5, but that's not money now, is it? $10.50. Remember, money has to have 2 places after the decimal. So anytime your answers are a money answer, you need to have 2 places after the decimal. Not 1, not 3, 2. All right. And so we're off to a good start. That's our unit rate. Now we take that unit rate and we can write our equation with it. The amount of money that he makes is equal to $10.50, which is the constant of proportionality multiplied by the number of hours that he works. So that's where our constant of proportionality goes for that. Let's make our table. If he works 1 hour, he makes $10.50. 2 hours, he makes $21. 3 hours, what would that be? $31.50. And 4 hours would be 42. And to graph this out, this is our x-axis, this is our y-axis. And you can gauge this out however, I'm going to spread this out just a little bit more. 1, 2, 3, there's 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. Makes it a little easier. And let's see here. We'll call that 10, 20, 30 goes there. Yeah, I like that. 40, 50, 60, 70. There. See how the numbers aren't all crammed together now? Because I hate that. I hate that. All right. 1 hour is $10.50. So just slightly above 10. Whoops. Got to change my pen. There we go. Just a little bit above. 2 hours is 21. So I got to find 20, 21. About there. 3 hours is 31.50. So here's 30, 31.50, probably about there. And 4 hours, 1, 2, 3, okay, would be 42. Probably about there somewhere. Anyway, not the best. That's okay. Now if I draw my line through it, they should be able to pass through all of those and the origin, because if he works 0 hours, he makes $0. And that was not the one I wanted. I hate it when my graphing tool does that. All right, time to use the mouse. All right. The mouse is easier. The mouse knows all. Yeah, I was a little bit off. I didn't count the right number of lines on my graph. This dot here, joop, whoops, sorry about that. This dot should have been on my 1, 2, 3, 4. There. Okay. Whew. And there you have it. And to find the constant of proportionality, remember the constant of proportionality, we already know it's the unit rate. It's what you multiply x by to find y. In your table, when x is 1, y is your constant of proportionality. And on your graph, again, when x is 1, y, your y value, is your unit rate and your constant of proportionality, all in one. So 4 different places to find the constant of proportionality and use them, and it is 10.5 or 1050 in this case, because it is money. Okay. Constant proportionality. We're going to be doing a lot more with the constant proportionality. And if I remember right, there are more questions after this in the forms document that you'll need to do. So I just want to make sure that you have the opportunity to see this. Okay.